If you started a normal Extreme chunk account in the Faldor West chunk, these would be your tasks to roll out into another chunk. However, I'm not a normal chunk account. Because I started my account by letting a random event teleport me to a random chunk, and every time I've seen that random event since, I've done the same thing, forcing it to teleport me around the world map and altering my chunk goals. I have a collection of items that no other chunker has had access to in any given chunk I get sent to. Last episode, we landed here in the Faldor Palace chunk, where the entrance to the mole layer resides. A normal chunker wouldn't have to worry about the mole since there is no light source in this chunk, and so they couldn't even get into the layer to begin with. I originally thought that this candle, illegally acquired, meant I would have to do the mole grind, complete with obtaining the 1 in 3,000 drop pet from the giant mole. But I was wrong. I don't have to do the mole grind because of this illegal candle. I have to do it because of these completely legitimate torches that I picked up in East Nil a few chunks back. But I'll be completely honest with you. We don't even get to a mole attempt in this episode, but you'll still want to see where we end up. Welcome to Chunk Evil. Buckle up. We just did all of our easy tasks here and got the magic level to teleport back with the help of a wizard's mind bomb in the event that we die. We are currently working on getting the thieving level to pickpocket a guard before moving on to killing chickens for our 58 cooking task. There is 40 thieving, we can now pickpocket a guard, a chunk task in a lot of different chunks. Okay, so in all my clips from this chunk, I somehow lost the one of me pickpocketing a guard. I swear I did it, but right after that I started killing them for their earth rune drops so that I could continue to cast curse and hopefully get to level 36 magic. Due to the way buffs and debuffs work in RuneScape, it's possible to use a boost and almost immediately lose a level of it, since the global debuff timer could be seconds away from ticking over. If we have level 36, with a +2 boost, effectively 38 magic, even if we drink the boost and immediately lose one level of the buff, we can still use the level 37 teleport to Faldor spell for at least 1 minute. As it stands, reserving 2 teleports worth of teleport to Faldor runes, we don't have a single way to cast a single spell, and getting earth runes to cast curse is the fastest way to level with what I have and where I am. I'm also getting the occasional nature rune from guards, which I can use for low level alchemy to get just a bit more magic XP. There's level 36 magic. We're safe if we die, so long as we have these runes and a wizard's mind bomb on us, until we get sent to a different chunk. We won't be chasing magic XP anymore while we're here. I'm just going to focus on killing chickens so we can get to that level 58 cooking, since that requirement's been with us in every single chunk except for the Arty Monastery. There is a single chicken spawn in this chunk, the only possible way to train cooking while here. The chicken has a 15-second respawn time, which doesn't seem like a lot, but the industrious player in my position might think it would be faster to world hop to get more chicken kills per hour. Unfortunately for me, you would be wrong. I have the fastest possible internet in my area, and more often than not, my world hop timer is longer than 15 seconds. So instead of hopping, and since this area of the White Knight's castle is in multi-combat, I will be constantly fighting White Knights while taking an attack cycle or 2 to kill the chicken every time it respawns. Level 54 cooking, just 4 more levels, but that is still 2,454 chickens to kill and cook. Level 44 prayer, 58 strength. Wow, this could have been bad. I nearly forgot to pick up the spade spawn in this chunk. As you can see by this handy chunk map that shows the available spade locations, there's quite a few spades in our evil chunks. But by picking up some to store in the bank, and some to store in the tool leprechaun, okay, with him, not in him, we increase the availability of spades from this to this to this for any given self-contained chunk. This will not only allow me to farm in any farming patch I get to, but also dig for specific types of clues, enable me to do things like X marks the spot mini quest, find certain crack the clue items, and a host of other one-off applications that will be useful for the account. I mentioned a few episodes back that this chunk in particular has 3 different locations that Molly can send you to inside of it. You've obviously seen the spot in the palace that we can get sent to, but I thought you might want to see the other spots too. Have you ever been up this tower in the general store? Well, if you haven't, Purdue and the Lost Property Shop are up here. We haven't gotten anything that populates here, so all we can see is a chronicle that allows you to teleport to outside the Champions Guild. I can't use it until I get teleport cards that charge it from Fortunato and Draenor, but I went ahead and bought one anyways. 1 floor up is the location that Molly can send you, a completely blank room, and 1 floor higher puts you out on the top of the tower where you can get a beautiful view of Metropolitan Faldor. Not really sure why this general store has this tower that's nearly as tall as the White Knight's castle. And the final place you can get teleported within this chunk is the top floor of the shield shop, where there is this really random cooked chicken spawn. Almost like the shop owner is about to eat dinner or something. I realized that I actually have some leftover banked cooking XP from the Easty Nil chunk, so I'm making quite literally everything I possibly can to speed up this cooking grind. Anything in here is miles better than killing chickens for meat to cook. 52 attack, 53 attack. Yeah, 2 attack clips in a... No, we're not going back to that joke, don't worry. Oh, wow, that is a crazy rare drop with no Ring of Wealth. We just got a loop half of a key from a White Knight. That is a rare drop table with a chance of 1 in 16,384. Damn. Chicken dropped us a beginner clue? Nope. We just got a mystery box. Please hold your breath with me. A beginner clue. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Nope. Looks like it's just to the north of us. Captain Arnav here with some bling. This is actually useful for us to bank. There are 2 beginner step clue caskets that require gold rings, and unless we hit a gold ore rock and then a furnace in a later chunk, after getting 40 smithing already, our gold bars are going to be pretty scarce. 55 HP, 59 strength, and time. Alright, 4 levels away from the cooking goal and exactly no mole kills. So, I guess let's see where we end up. Still waiting to see Molly send us back to the same chunk. I wouldn't be mad if we got sent to a new one though. Mole kills with no range and extremely limited magic was looking pretty grim. Now that we've said that, I'm sure we'll end up right back there. Where are we? Oh, I know where we are. We're in... Well, I know 2 tasks right off the bat without even looking. Checking your pets with Probita and praying at the altar in the church. Chunk task complete. I'm gonna bet that's all the tasks in the achievement diary section. I don't think we can do any others. Oh my god, the store is incredible. I was pretty upset I forgot my axe, and I would also have liked to have had a pickaxe on me, but there's also a knife and tinderbox here, which means any wood-based training is on the table since they sell iron axes. I just wish I had a bank so I could put some of these ropes, arrows, balls of wool, and papyrus in there for later chunks. This might have actually been the best chunk for us to get sent to without my usual gear, outside of one with a bank of course, simply because of this store. Magnus and Artie Starty want to meet up at the corner of my chunks. They are both chunkmen with Artie and Starts. It's one of the reasons I love this game mode. I get to visit all my chunky clanmates. So, as discussed previously in this series, when I started my account, I treated any chunk I got sent to as permanently unlocked, which was a bad idea for a variety of reasons. At this point in the series, I haven't changed my rules to be stuck in a chunk until all tasks are complete, even if I am next to a previously visited location. So, almost the entire rest of this episode takes place illegally, within the Ardian Monastery chunk. In previous episodes, I didn't really show me outside of my chunk as to not confuse the narrative or show things that are against my actual finalized rules, but this one is unavoidable. We do a lot of stuff in this chunk, all still pretty inconsequential to the overall progress of the account. In the next episode, or maybe the one after, you will see the final illegal chunk expedition, and then all of this will never come up again. We will go over the illegal activities and how we're going to make things right, but I just felt I needed to add this extra bit of explanation. Back to the action. I had a good time hanging out briefly with Magnus and Artie Starty, but I couldn't chat for too long for fear of Posty Pete showing up yet again. It's only a matter of time before we get back-to-back Pete's, and I'd really be kicking myself if I didn't get some of my regular carried items back when they're just sitting in a store in this chunk. Let's see, there's a man in this chunk I can easily pickpocket, but at 3 GP each, I'd much rather get a few from this guy. Okay, we got 3. That's like 20 min pickpockets, but still, I think I'd rather just do min rather than already getting pulled out of my chunk. We only need a few hundred GP to get the axe back, but let's go over the chunk task here while I'm getting the money. We're back to having a more reasonable number of tasks in this chunk. We've already completed both achievement diary tasks, as I suspected. We have 3 new quests to start: the Temple of Ikov, which has completed a few chunks to the northeast, Sheep Herder, which has completed 1 chunk to the north, and Haziel Cult, which has continued in the Artie Monastery chunk. We have 4 skilling tasks, 3 easy ones consisting of chopping, burning, and fletching willow logs, and the 1 very long task of level 70 thieving to pickpocket a paladin. There are 3 best in slot tasks, 1 for wielding a willow shield, source of our fletching task, 1 for wearing a steel full helm drop from paladins, and 1 for wielding a black scimitar, which is found locked behind a level 61 thieving requirement in the Ardian Palace. I'm not sure if that's an upgrade from our myth sword, but I also don't think we'll be picking it up before Pete catches up to us. Lastly, there is a single unique item drop in this chunk, and I was really confused when I saw it on the chunk picker. That's right, we need a giant key drop, but not because there are hill giants hidden somewhere. Did you know that Cyclopses can drop giant keys? Well, actually, that's not true. Only this singular Cyclops can drop a giant key at a rate of 1 in 128, according to the wiki. I checked every other type of drop table in Cyclopses, and none of them list a giant key as a possible drop. I'm sure there's a story here. I briefly tried searching for it, but I couldn't find anything. So if you know what's going on here and why this Cyclops is so unique, let me know in the comments. I'm honestly super curious about this. That's all the tasks here in this chunk, but since we're getting a little nefarious this episode and completing tasks in the Arty Monastery chunk as well, we will also be doing these tasks, which we didn't get done before dying way back in episode 1. Starting the Temple of Ikov quest gets us our first necklace. It doesn't do anything for us in terms of stats, but I do really like this necklace for Fashionscape. Just nothing else really looks like it, and I love how it looks like a symbol on your chest when you wear it with a plate body. You probably didn't even know there were archers up here, but there are. They don't drop anything but bones, but killing one is a chunk task. Killing this paladin is also one of our chunk tasks, and there's actually a ton of kill X creature tasks here yet again simply because of the Arden Zoo. I can't actually attack any of them since I don't have ranged or magic ammo on me, but if we can obtain any of either, we will have to kill one of each creature here in the zoo. I'm petting this dog here at the Sinclair Mansion, not because it's a chunk task, but because it should be a chunk task. It should be a chunk task source. Come on, man, look at him. He's such a good boy. Here in the Sinclair Mansion, we can talk to Daddy Sinclair to start the Haziel Cult quest. Now this quest is classically one of the few where you can choose what route to take, the good side or the evil side. Despite what you might assume, I'm not doing the evil path, I'm going the good path, because while the evil path gives you a cool Fashionscape necklace, the good path gives you a shitty piece of armor that I might potentially find useful in a very niche case. But narratively, as an evildoer, I don't want to empower other evil in the world, I want to save all that juicy ill intent for myself. Haziel's quest isn't all that exciting, if you couldn't guess. We climb down this cave, meet Clivet, turn some valves, ride a raft, kill a guy, find knockoff Castle Wars armor, return it, get accused of being evil, expose the amateur evil as this guy's real problem, and get said shitty armor as a prize. Quest complete. The Carnelian armor isn't even as good as an iron plate body, however it does have no stat reduction to any type of combat. I envision this as barely more useful than the Haziel mark, only because if I get caught naked by Pete and end up back here, this is a piece of armor that I can always reclaim from this chunk so long as it isn't banked. I'm not even claiming it now since I have way better armor anyways, so it's here if I need it. Forgot to record the start of the quest, but I began Monk's Friend, something I should have done the first time I was in this chunk. I collected the blanket the monk asked for with no issues, and we now need to go save Brother Cedric from this hangover. I'm like 95% certain this won't work, but we need to get him to drink some water to sober him up. I think you have to have a jug of water, not a bucket, but let's see. Yeah, nope. Looks like we need to get a jug from some imps. Uh-oh, look who it is. Nah, I'm just kidding. Posty Pete is here for Parrot Pete, not me this time. If you've never seen him around in the wild, there's a few different places he can show up, like at Castle Wars. I always seem to see him there, but I'm admittedly not hanging out a lot in the zoo on other accounts. Did I get ya? If I did, you have to subscribe. That's a law. Another evil Bob for 25 fishing. Fish Chunk is crying and vomiting right now, 2 chunks to the north. I just got this clay drop from an imp, and something in my brain told me to check the map just to make sure. But sure enough, it looks like we do actually have access to a pottery wheel and maybe a pottery oven as well. Wow, I feel like I've never noticed this here before. Least optimal place for these things to be used. I don't think there's even clay anywhere near here. All we can do is make an unfired pot, and fair chance we crack this. Nope, we got it! A whole 12 crafting XP. It's actually incredible. I know I sound like I'm playing this up, but honestly, this makes me so happy to see. Crafting is just one of those must-have skills for the usefulness of jewelry, and we've been so dry on crafting methods. A lot of skills, really, like mining and agility and slayer, but those skills feel a lot less consequential than crafting to me. There we go, finally. Killed over 100 to get this jug, which is just annoying, but we can finally finish Monk's Friend. Holy crap, Chunk Chat, you're gonna get me canceled. Alright, buddy, here's some water. Also, it's been like a day since I saw you, and you should definitely be sober by now. Awesome, damn, he did sober up quick. And we just need a log to repair his cart, and we're good to go. Brother Cedric, are you in Chunk Chat too? Okay, the cart is fixed. We can now go back and finish the quest. Quest complete. We got 8 law runes, which is nice. These always need to live in our inventory. And after we do some dancing... Alright, after we do some dancing... Seriously, how long does this go on for? 2k woodcutting experience, but it's not even a level. Next, we're going for that cape we never got. I killed a bunch of goblins over here near the poison spawn beneath the clock tower, but after a while I switched to this spot on the way to the caged giant rat we used in episode 1 to train cooking. Here in the hexagon, as I've dubbed it, there's only this single level 2 goblin that doesn't drop the red cape we're looking for, but there are 4 level 5s that do drop it at a rate of 1 in 128. So it's much more efficient to kill them for a cape here than at the poison spawn where... Oh, we got on the first one. Well, let's go dye this thing purple. Wait, we gotta try it on. Very nice. The purple dye spawn, and we just put it on the cape. Oh, that gives crafting XP. That's so weird. Damn, that looks great. We really have a weird little character building here, don't we? I would absolutely love to get some actually protective pants, though. Like, seriously, we've been to how many? 5, 6 chunks now? And not a single plate leg or skirt, chaps, or robes to be seen. It's kind of blowing my mind. Alright, with the dyeing of the cape, we are actually finished with all the tasks in this chunk. But since I was treating it as attached to the arty chunk, I thought I needed to complete all tasks in both to roll out. But that's not how it ends up. We don't roll out here, and by the time I'm back in either of these chunks, the rules are set in stone and both of them are self-contained until complete. I don't feel too terrible about having done this. I later dropped this cape since it was illegally acquired, but everything else that was done was entirely possible to complete within this chunk, so it would have been done pretty quickly after arriving back here. We'll pick up the rest of the arty chunk in the next episode. If you want to help support the series, like these wonderful channel members you see on the screen right now, we have memberships for the channel that allow you to see episodes 1 week in advance and give you a special role in the Evil Industries Discord. But if you don't have $1 to spend, a simple like or subscribe goes a long way. Thanks for watching. I'm Chunk Evil. See you next time.